Welcome to the You World Order Showcase podcast, where we feature life, health, and transformational coaches being the change they seek in the world. If you'd like to be featured on our podcast to share what you're contributing to making the world a better place for us all, please go to www.jointheyouworldorder.com. Be sure to like and follow our podcast for the latest episodes. Hi, and welcome to the You World Order Showcase podcast. I'm your host, Jill Hart, and with us today is Djali Vesela, and she is a clairvoyant, prosperity and time genius, master healer, and master mindset coach on a mission to empower conscious entrepreneurial women to unlock their inner intuition, elevate their income, reclaim their time, and live purposefully in joy. Welcome to the show, Djali. It's really great to have you with us.
Jill, it's amazing to be connecting with another conscious woman. It's just so rare and so special. Thank you for doing the podcast.
Oh, you're so welcome. So how did you get into this? I mean, did you just always know you were clairvoyant? Did you discover one day that, hey, maybe I have a gift?
Yeah, God, no. And that's a funny thing. I actually like teaching people because all of us are able to be clairvoyant. It's just deep intuition that we kind of block off as we go growing up. And I remember when I was a kid realizing there was something like beyond our body and like there were some healing powers. I remember looking at my hands and go like, oh, I think we can do things with those. And I remember my dad was psychic, but he was in denial. So I remember him talking about how we can change the mind and that can change the energy and it can change the world. And all of that kind of faded away until I was a teenager. So this is me about like 8, 7 years old, looking at my hands. And then until I was about 14 years old, I completely blocked off everything because of the programming, as we most have, like you go to school, you're the good girl. Well, I wasn't too good, but I tried. I was always asking things, how do you do that? And also because my dad died when I was 7 and I suppressed my emotions. So my coping mechanism was not connecting to my intuition as most of us is until now, sadly. So I realized later on when I wanted to fix myself, I started plugging into psychology and into all kind of self-help tools as energy healing, that you can also formally learn how to be deeply intuitive. And that's when I discovered all the encompassing tools to be able to fix me and then later on my clients.
That's awesome. I am so glad that you found the tools to be able to heal yourself so that you could heal your clients. And so what does your coaching really look like?
So my coaching goes in two paths. So I have clients either who are one-on-ones or who come to my courses or masterminds and they go then getting additional sessions. So if they just come for the group sessions, they are getting energy tools, intuitive tools, and modern business tools to be able to redesign their offer so that it works in alignment with their purpose. So it feels good, it feels yummy. They're motivated in the morning. They're working fewer hours than they thought it was possible. On average, it's about 5 hours a day instead of like 10 or 12. And they end up making more money. So that's kind of the tools they get when they're in a group environment. And when they are with me personally, they get also my clairvoyant view of their world that kind of gives them behind the corner of what they can't see perspective of what everything is possible. And when they are not with me in one-on-ones, I give them processes and tools to be able to discover them themselves. So part of the whole process is going into the you don't know what you don't know zone so that you maximize your potential. And it's a scary and cool world at the same time. And you need special conscious people to want to dare go there.
I can totally see that because I'm kind of your people. And I know a lot on technology, but I'm learning because I too have coaches that there are ways to work where you're working in the flow instead of standing on the side of the river trying to scoop it out and dump it in your bucket. And I think that's really what you're talking about is teaching people the tools and the strategies to be able to work, let the downloads happen. Because,
Yeah.
we conscious people get downloads all the time about things that seem like they're going to be a great idea. And then they find themselves like, oh no, I didn't want to be here. And this other thing that was really a good idea that I started on is suddenly like it's way over there and now it's really far and it's going to be really hard for me to get back to it. It kind of bridging the gap between your downloads and purpose.
That's right. Yeah, I think like as you describe the flow logic is really good explanation. And I would probably say also that even people who are not conscious, because I had people coming to me who are unconsciously conscious, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
They kind of know that, or like I can tell that they're conscious, but they haven't really labeled it that way because they don't have the vocabulary for that yet. They haven't been in the environment I have been in, and I bring them into to be able to translate it with their human mind. So yeah, everybody can actually download. Everybody gets information every day that's so like putting you into the flow, putting you into the high vibration, putting you into the easier life, but is the educational and the culture programming that stops us from the flow. So my job is to kind of guide you back onto like, hey, here is an easy, as you said, like yeah, getting into the river. Like here's an easier river to go on to. You don't need to be trying so hard. And I've done that myself through like trying hard quite a few years, having suppressed my emotions. I've built 3 businesses. The first 2 businesses I built like with the hard work, and it worked, but it was annoyingly hard. I would work like 16 hours sometimes a day. I would burn myself out. I would be anxious. I had no video for like weeks and weeks, things like that. So I know now there is a different way. And since I discovered it and help people with it, I want others to have it as well. So yeah, getting into the flow and realizing that we all have downloads, we all have useful information from the morning you wake up, actually. And I teach people how to get centered from the from the moment you wake up, so that you go harnessing the useful energy, not the crappy what can be around you as well.
Yeah, it's so easy if you don't start out your day with intention, which it, for me, I like to start out, I wake up and I like to lay there for at least 5 minutes. I think about what I was dreaming about, wonder if there was a message, maybe I'm curious. And then I think about the feelings I want to have during the day. How do I want to approach the day? I know what my values are, and I I try to consider how the day could go that would be aligned with what I value in life. And then I get up and then I make my tea and we do it in the dark with my dogs. So we don't wake my husband up. So I can have my 2 hours of me time. And maybe I'll do some tapping and listen to some guided meditation, and then I get dressed and go for a walk and have time with my husband, and then my day starts.
I
But
love that.
it's a ritual that I've set up that works for me. It allows me to have an intentional day rather than a random day.
Reactive day, which most people do. And that's the first thing I go reviewing and checking on if people are actually like leaving their phone aside, even if it has like one of those sleeping ads or apps or whatever. So yeah, okay, you stop it and you don't look at it. And then yeah, as you say, that's what I suggest. Actually, like you're almost like there, what I'm suggesting to my clients. I tell them to stay in the bed, go and tune into, because what happens is you go leaving the body energetically at night. That's why it often feels like, where am I? Like, what
Mhm.
time is it? And when we arrive in the body, so the body, depending on the chemistry that we gave it the day before or the upcoming time, feels somehow. And you want to check into that. You want to check, like, okay, so definitely the dream world, that's such a good way to be tapping into consciousness. And often people think like they can't really remember their dreams. The intention is so easy that if you just say to yourself the night before, it works with 9 out of 10 of my clients, I'll remember the dream, you remember something. And then you tapping into like what was the dream is actually you connecting different dimensions of consciousness. So you're giving your mind a signal, the human mind, that there are more levels of your thinking, of your being, of your possibilities. So that's so great you do that. And then I tell people to tap into their energy. How does the energy feel in the body? I actually teach them how to flow energy through their body. Super easy, super powerful. Most things are easy, just need to know how they
Just
are
need to know
done.
they exist.
Yeah, exactly. And then, so you said it differently. You said you think about what emotions you want to have the day, right?
Mhm.
So I tap into, and it's what I teach people as well. What is best for my energy today, so that we go harnessing most highest vibrations possible, and with that, the yummiest possibilities. And it's different every day. And with that, I kind of tap into maybe 3 words. Maybe it's something like, calm, groundedness. And for some people, it's something really particular, like you should call this person. You should do extra 5 push-ups or whatever like that. And that goes really giving you the intention for the day. And after that, actually, I suggest you do breath work and meditate, and only then stand up and have some warm water into your stomach to start the body fire working, so that you go balancing the chemistry of the body. But yeah, I love that you do that right in the morning. Have you ever tried not doing it and comparing how those days are, the intention from the morning and not?
Um, it's a new enough practice for me that I know that I my days are much better if I will take that time in the morning. If I find myself like for some reason I've woken up really late, and this never happens because I have dogs. But if you get in a situation where you're just like really thrown off, it makes the energy of the whole day like you just feel like you're always running around trying to solve problems, but you're not really solving them from a place of centeredness. You're just hoping that they'll go away.
Yeah, are you trying to catch up? You're trying to kind of like, yeah, not cause more
Well,
problems.
I'll give you a good example because this did happen to me on Sunday, and I knew it was going to happen because I had planned for it. So Saturday night I babysat my grandsons so their parents could go have a night out. And my grandsons are young. One is only 9 months old. So he wakes up in the middle of the night, and I knew he was going to wake up in the middle of the night, and I was going to have to, become conscious at 2 o'clock in the morning. And then I brought him back to bed with me, but I didn't really sleep all that well from 2 till like 6 when he woke up. And then I couldn't sit there because you have to attend to the baby. Otherwise he'll crawl off the bed and
That would be disastrous.
delirium and stuff. It would be bad. so so yeah. But that day I knew that the rest of the day was going to be a veg and watch movies kind of day because I I wasn't in a place where I was going to be doing anything business wise, but I had planned for it. I knew that this was coming, and I wanted to give that gift to my son and his wife. So it wasn't a big deal. I just knew that we're not going to do business things today because we're not in the place where business is going to happen. We're not standing in that stream. We haven't consciously chosen to walk into that. We've consciously made a choice to do something different. And I was good with it. It didn't feel like, oh no, I couldn't do the thing that I need to do every day.
I'm a better entrepreneur.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I love that. It makes you, like really at peace already with
Mhm.
your energy and with arranging your day accordingly. Because when we go against it, and I would say it's even stronger for women, because women also have like all the hormonal waves, and they need to be nurtured and loved by themselves and the environment even more than those people who find themselves in male bodies. So when we go
Mhm.
against it, it could be done worse and then you actually going with it. But our programming is that you should be up, I don't know what it is, 6 or 7, you should be up and you should like have your breakfast done really quick. And then you're packing the school bags or, whatever your part of your life you are in the whole female picture. And then you're supposed to be by 9 at the desk and doing something super productive and looking super cute. And yeah, and we try to fit into that mold, right? And usually, if we do that every day, day by day, it just drains us. So even if on the outside, and I have loads of women coming to me who are in this situation, they're aware of it, they're beautiful, they have this like on paper amazing family, their business looks like there is something going on, there's being money made all the time, and yet they're either unhappy or there isn't enough time or they're not calm, they can't sleep, and that's because they're pushing themselves into that energy mold rather than going like, okay, today we probably don't take, I work about 5 hours a day. And when I have days like this, I either don't work or I work like 3 hours. That's because I know the 3 hours are all I can give it so that the world can actually get something out of me that's beneficial and not just pretend that I'm a good looking, cute by the desk.
You're adorable.
Yeah,
And allowing yourself the space, I think, is another part of it. And we all have seasons. Like I'm in a season where I don't have to get up at any particular time. I can choose to get up at the time that I want to get up. My husband sleeps till 8. He's retired, and it's good. I'm glad that he does. I like to go to sleep earlier at night, and it's good. But when you have kids, if you're in that season of your life, there are things you can do, and it doesn't require you to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning so you can have your 2 hours before the kids start coming up. There are things you can do that can incorporate your children into the same processes that you're in also. And I'm sure that you share tools with women. It doesn't matter where you are, I guess, is what I'm trying to get at. And what stage or season you're going through in life, there are tools and ways that will flow for you. And if you talk to somebody like Djali, who can help you work out how to incorporate the responsibilities that you have with a way and a pattern of being that serves you, and everybody, it looks different for everybody. You get to choose. You don't have to fit into my box or Jolly's box or your parents'
yeah.
box that they prepared for you
Yeah.
so carefully.
I love that. Yeah, no, totally. We can actually choose how we want everything to be organized and how the world can cooperate with us rather than us serving the world, which starts with the first moment where you're waking up. But what I see with lots of women, even if they're already conscious, already if they like meditate and do breath work, maybe they've even done intuition course with me. When they step into the business work with me, they realize they actually haven't allowed themselves to dream how exactly they would want their days, their weeks, and their years to look. And that's both time wise, money wise, relationship wise, kind of the whole structure, what it looks like. So that's the first thing. You want to allow yourself to go, okay, so if there was no problem with selling this or having to train people on your team or your husband cooperating, your dog's waking you up, you having to cook meals, how would you like your morning to be? How would you like your day to be? How many hours do you actually feel like you can happily work on your projects and then with people? Because these are two different things. Contact time is different for every person during different seasons as well. And then how much money do you actually allow yourself to want? Most of us don't allow us ourselves to want the money that you really desire that would make you the full potential person. And when this part of the courses and the masterminds, I teach people to allow themselves to do a calculation. And when they get to the calculation, they're amazed. They're like, oh my God, so now I have to make, typically $300 to $1,000 a day. And they go like, so now, they're supposed to be coming $300 or $1,000 a day. I'm like, yeah, that's okay. Okay. Because once you go creating this step, you go reverse engineering what actually you want it to look like, then the universe can start throwing the energy in there, and your human mind has an idea of where you're going, so you can start working on it. It doesn't mean overnight. It's a common misconception. People go going, okay, you come to Djali and overnight make $1,000 a day. I mean, that's happened, but it's not 100% of the cases. So you will actually start working with that, and the whole world starts evolving around you and with you and cooperating with you. And that's something we're not taught as women, right? We're taught to be serving, helping, caring, and all of that can be part of you designing your own world. And Jill, I know that your dogs, they wake you up, or you just want to go with them for a walk
I
and
usually want to get them out of the kennel. Well, one
oh,
of them's in a kennel and the other one's old. And
okay.
I usually just wake up.
You wake up, they
I
don't wake
don't,
you up, right? Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because I have a dog and he doesn't wake me up. It's amazing. Like I got even concerned for he's a really young dog. There's nothing wrong with him. And I'm pretty sure it's me because I've seen this with other women who have animals, who consciously design their day and who
Mhm.
have kids. That day, the kids or the animals or the husband, they go kind of working with them rather than like, okay, so here we are. And maybe it's not immediately, but it really goes happening. So my dog just doesn't wake up until I wake up.
Yeah. And my husband he might wake up, after I've been up for a little while. And it doesn't really matter. Sometimes I wake up at 4 in the morning. Sometimes I wake up at 6. I almost never wake up later than 6, but I wake up. It's like, okay, I'm done sleeping. It's not like I have an alarm that goes off or anything. I just feel like I've had enough sleep. I feel good. I'm ready to get up and I can lay here and I can do my things
Yeah,
that I like
you're
to do.
tuning in. Yeah.
I tuning in, and then I can get up and let the dogs out and we do our little things that we do, and then my day can begin it in a nice calm way. And then my
Yeah.
husband comes in and he's part of of the ritual, and he has his own rituals during the week. And I, you don't every day doesn't have to look exactly the same when
That's
you're
right.
planning your business. Like I have days where certain days of the week I do certain different things. And I allowing yourself the flexibility to say, no, I'm going to have boundaries around certain times in during the week and during my days. And it it just gives you so much more freedom.
Yeah, I totally love the boundaries and at the same time the flexibility,
Mhm.
because what happens a lot to people who are learning tools is thinking I need to follow the recipe to T to be able to actually get all the benefits. But yeah, you want to learn the tool, say if it is tuning into the body in in the morning or kind of designing your hours, and then being able to make it flexible. I have days, so my average hours are 5 hours, but I have days when I feel like working 10 hours. And as I said, some days I just go like, okay, 3 hours is all I can do. And some days I'm like, I'm not working. Like, I'm just not working. There's no point in me working. I need to do something else. Or things like you had the grandkids happens, right? Maybe
Mhm.
my dog isn't well, my mom needs something, or my partner needs something. So I think it's really important I work with loads of fine lines, teaching people like how to recognize the fine line. And this is one of them. Kind of creating the boundaries of like how many hours a day you want to be working, but also being flexible on that. Creating the boundaries, so okay, like how you want your partner to cooperate on this, but then being flexible if they are ill, if they need your support, right? Not like going like, hey, no, I'm the bitch queen. You have to do it with me.
Yeah, yeah.
No way back.
You need to, and not feeling guilty about it. I think
Yeah.
as women, we were like, okay, well, I've made this plan, so now I have to follow it exactly. And if something happens that's outside the plan, then we're just like, oh, I'm a failure. Throw the whole thing
Yeah.
out the window.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
No,
can't do it.
I mean, you Yeah, I mean, you could if you wanted to feel guilty and be like in low energy. And it's really interesting to be observing when we feel unhappy. And it's often this kind of self-judgment or judgment of a situation, kind of tracking back where the thought came that puts you into the misery of thinking like life
Mhm.
sucks or I suck. And it would be something like that. I had the other day, I was with my partner sitting having breakfast, and we had a bit of a distant moment because I didn't share exactly what emotions I had the night before. And I could feel his body language being, like he was further from me. So normally he'd be sitting like right next to me, and he was like, there's an L-shaped sofa, and he's like at the end of this L-shape almost. And I'm sitting there, with my it's my observation. Sometimes, it's a bit of like, oh my God, I know everything. But I brought with a human mind, with a part of the mind that likes criticizing, that likes, being fearful. I bring this judgment like, yeah, we're not close anymore. I mean, not close now. God knows how long this will take. I didn't clear this in me, and I just stayed with this notion of we're not close. And I walked off. It was a beautiful Sunday. I had the whole afternoon to myself. I go to this amazing cafe. It looks like a holiday resort. I sit there. I'm having this beautiful and healthy cake. And, the service, I live in Prague, the Czech Republic. The service is generally not good. The service is amazing. So it's heaven. I'm sitting there and I realize I'm miserable.
Yeah.
Let's go back. When was the moment that I realized I decided that there's something wrong? And I went back to that sofa where he's sitting away, and I'm like, oh, okay. Well, how about we decide that is not miserable? How about we take away the assignment of the value to it and we just go like, that's the way it is right now. That's okay. Maybe we can talk about it later. It's just so amazing what we can cause to ourselves by assigning values.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What we're thinking about.
Yes. And you're judging it. And you're
Yes,
judging it and giving it, yeah,
giving
giving
it
it a label.
value and making it mean something. You can make it mean anything you want. Like you could have changed your whole thought about him being further from you. Maybe he felt like he smelled bad and he didn't want to offend you. So he was sitting at the far end of the couch. You could label it that because you don't know.
I think you may be right actually, because when I was leaving, I just had a shower. And he goes like, "You smell so fresh." So, he's probably thinking like, "Oh, I haven't had a shower still."
Yeah, I
So I
don't
think
want to
you can
smell
be,
her up.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, you can be totally right. And it goes with everything, right? So when I realized I could make 3 times what I was making, it came down to me making myself mean what I have to mean so that I can make that kind of money. So that I don't feel like, okay, there isn't the value in what I do so that I can charge the money. There isn't the audience that would come to me to pay for what I have. And I
Mhm.
literally had to decide the meaning of what I do. So yeah, that's really big. That goes changing the mindset in a master way. What I can go helping people be guided through all the time.
Yeah, and we need, as coaches, we have to do it to ourselves too.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, it's really easy to tell somebody else, hey, just do this. But until we actually practice those things ourselves,
No, I totally love
there's-
always developing and always seeing the moments like this one. And I love also thinking or like catching myself thinking because the ego mind is the fearful mind going
Mhm.
like, but this is right. That's true. Like he was sitting on the other side. And like, how about he didn't? And how about we don't actually take it for granted unless we know? And how about we don't actually dictate the whole day's energy based on that? And the other boundary I can actually give example on, I see in people's jealousy, whether it is envy of someone else's business or someone else looking seemingly better, or partners looking at someone flirting with someone. And I love that, and I love seeing that in me and going like, oh, wait a second. So I don't feel jealousy really often, because I work with it a lot. But if I do, I'm like, oh, I love this. Let's discover what it is and let's expose ourselves more to it. So I would even, tell my partner, go and flirt with someone, go and flirt with a person, so that I can go and observe myself. And yeah, that's what I go doing with my clients too. I go making them push their boundaries, go like, okay, go watch this person, go watch that person, have a look how much they make. So that you push yourself into that's possible for me too. Anything that another person has and that you actually are jealous about, you're envious because it's a desire that is meant for you to be fulfilled.
And
So
that
I
brings
love
in
recognizing
a-
that.
an interesting point to me, in that sometimes you need to look at what you're feeling, because you may think that you're jealous of somebody, but that jealousy might not actually be jealousy. It might be another emotion. And if you can detach feeling the emotion that you think you're going to feel for the situation, and look at the situation and just be curious, what am I actually feeling about this situation? Am I jealous of them making a whole bunch of money, or is this situation making me feel uncomfortable for some other reason? Am I out of alignment with where they're going, or am I in alignment with what they're doing? And is that making me jealous? Or am I looking at it thinking, hey, if they can do that, I can do that? Or maybe they're doing it this way, but I know a better way to do it. And looking for opportunities in the situation, rather than just saying, oh, yep, I've labeled it, therefore I don't have to think about it anymore.
I love that. Looking for opportunities in these situations. I would say every uncomfortable situation is your opportunity to be growing, and with that, long term increasing your energy vibrations. So, all my work is about bringing you into the state where manifesting the life you want is just super easy. And to be honest, it's not a piece of cake that happens overnight. It takes levels of awareness. It
Mhm.
takes, as you said, like your intentional mornings. It takes whole intentional business system and you loving yourself system. But every single bit actually goes changing the negative emotion, goes changing the context of it. Because if you go thinking the moment I was jealous or I saw myself being envious about how much this person makes, well, wow, that's great. Because that means I have some place to grow, to learn something about myself. What was it the other day that happened to me as well? I was like, oh my God, I love this. Yeah, I was wrong. I love being wrong as well. So there's moments like when I'm like, oh my God, I'm wrong. No, I can't be wrong. I'm doing things all the time. How the heck I'm wrong? Yeah, I think it was something super simple about like coffee, how coffee is brewed. And I realized, oh my God, actually, it's great being wrong because then you can go and re-examine and the whole world grows. In this case, it was the knowledge of like how you can actually take your coffee and how much caffeine it has. And I'm big about energy. And I say caffeine is actually for you, credit card on energy. So me knowing how that works, another magic.
That's an interesting thought. Caffeine is a credit card on energy, because
Oh
you,
yeah.
you are charged interest on it.
Because you charge interest, and because with credit cards, people often have the habit of not repaying it when they're supposed to, which you should do because your caffeine has 24 metabolical cycle. So it doesn't let you sleep and process your emotions and your memories within the 24 hours when you had it. But because you haven't slept, then when you wake up the following morning, you feel underslept. So what you go do, you have a cup of coffee. So that's you not repaying that credit card. Yeah, I love coming up with like metaphors like that because like my mind works in explaining things really well.
I like that a lot. I quit drinking coffee. It's been, I think, 8 weeks now.
Oh,
My
wow.
my
And
daughter, I
how is
gave her
that?
my French press and all
Wow,
my
that's a
coffee.
big one. Okay, that's like a real junkie cutoff. Like I'm giving my tool for this. Here's my drug producer.
I I started drinking tea. I decided I didn't like the taste of it. I did this with alcohol too. I don't drink alcohol anymore. Um, it's been over a year, and I don't want it. It's like I'm one of those weird people. I just make decisions. I smoked when I was younger, and I just decided one day I don't like the way it makes me feel, so I'm done with that. So I was done with coffee because it was a mechanism for a lot of milk products, and I think milk doesn't really agree with me all that well.
Mhm.
So I decided I really like the taste of Earl Grey tea and coconut milk. That combination just is really yummy to me, whereas
Mm.
coffee makes my stomach hurt. So, I'm all about if it doesn't
Tastes
really
good.
make my body feel good, I'm just not doing it anymore because, you get to a,
Yeah. So that I think this is the case of being unconsciously conscious because your body basically goes communicating through not liking the taste of coffee
Mhm.
all of a sudden to because when you go off a coffee for most people it goes deepening intuition because when you're having coffee you go turning on the stress mode more, you go releasing more adrenaline and cortisol, and with that you're in the do mode, you're not in the like let me tune into the intuition or this day energy mode. So since you have got so far, and you said recently also you have changed, you have got into the routine of having super intentional mornings.
Mhm.
So your body went guiding you to, okay, super intentional mornings, they don't have coffee, bitch.
I love that.
So yeah, I think like you super intuitional there, but you just weren't like how intentionally it happened besides your body telling you that as the message. I think that's beautiful. So have you noticed that your intuition is easier, the downloads are easier, you deciding is easier?
Yeah, I just staying in that higher vibe is much easier, and I'm making decisions around things that um without having to just label them, where I used to maybe sit and stew about something for a long time, um and make the problem worse,
Yeah,
because stewing just makes the problem worse.
correct.
I've just decided, I just cut things off faster, and then I just don't worry about them.
Yeah, that's perfect. And it saves so much energy and makes your world navigate like into the more beneficial things way
Mhm.
easier because we go self-sabotaging otherwise. So that's also like, yeah, well, I'm very strict on like how much coffee there ever goes in me. It's more recreational drug to me than anything else, like brunch with coffee, something like that. And there are periods like when I'm on some coffee because I'm a junkie, and once I have it, I may go on a bit, and then I'm like, okay, now we're not having it anymore, that's for sure. And I notice a difference. So, and I know like people have different bodies, so I don't want to say to anyone like don't have it at all, but I would say
Mhm.
experiment with it. And I've seen really with people who are super calm, super conscious, intentional, they're easy to manifest things. They don't usually drink coffee. And it's very
Or
similar with
soda pop.
alcohol. Yeah. That's the yeah, they're just able to, and also they can observe how much energy they have themselves. So that's easy. The credit card bill is kind of clean.
Yeah, the tea that I drink does have caffeine in it, but I think the caffeine in tea is different than the caffeine in coffee.
Correct. Yeah.
And
It has a different kick.
yeah, it's a lot more subtle, and
Hmm.
it's not the give you the jitters
The
type
jittery
thing.
thing, totally. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's amazing. And I recommend always to people like when they are on some kind of stimulants, or I've even had like clients who smoke. To me, smoking is completely strange. I'm like, why would you take something in your lungs? The biggest organ that actually gets the human energy through air, through prana, and the better your lungs are. I used to have asthma, so I really know like what it means to have good lung capacity. The better your lungs are, the better your human energy, and the longer you live actually. So you taking smoking, I'm like, okay. But then I don't want to say no to anyone. I want you to test it for yourself and then
Mhm.
figure out what is it doing to you when you go off. But you have to go off these things usually for 2 weeks to kind of see the effect because the first 2 weeks are just pain of the withdrawal syndrome.
In my experience, and it could just be me, and I do recognize that there are people that they do go through withdrawal symptoms. I generally don't. I, I've quit a lot of things that a lot of people have said are highly addictive. It's like, yeah, but you just make a decision, and then you it's helpful if you have something else that you do instead. And if you cut off all the things around it that generally you
Trigger it, yeah.
triggers that behavior, and smoking is one. I used to have smoking and drinking alcohol or drinking coffee, so I would like not do any of those things. Yeah. And I quit smoking. I didn't quit drinking alcohol, but you don't drink alcohol socially. It's not socially acceptable to drink alcohol all the time. So it when I was getting away from smoking, I think I didn't do that. I actually quit smoking twice. But because it was so much fun the first time.
Yes.
And
Your
then when
soul has
I
something to learn.
yeah, and when I quit drinking alcohol, I had this really amazing event around it with a hawk that came to visit me. And like it was over my head and it messed with my hair. I had my hair up and it was messing with my hair. And hawks have really sharp claws. So if it had hit my scalp, I would have been bleeding. But it was just messing with my hair and it was underneath an overhang next to my house. So it had to fly in and like hover right over my head. And I hit it and then it flew over like 10 feet away and sat on a fence and looked at me. And my husband's pointing because I thought it was wasps attacking me, and I felt this big thing. It was totally a message. Hawks are messengers. And it was just like, after that, it's like, yeah, I'm embracing
Wow.
sobriety. This was a message from the universe, and it was never a problem. It was just,
Yeah. I feel like you decided always before, like really strongly. And that's what made it super easy. Because most people, when they're giving something up, and you can hear it with the New Year's resolutions, they
mhm.
tell you things like, I would want to quit this, I would want to gain weight, lose weight, whatever it is, make this much more money. So I'll try. And that's not having decided properly. It sounds to me like you had a resolute decision probably way before that happened. You already
Mhm.
saw the benefits of that, and your human mind was just translating this really strong download in a finished version already. Whilst most people are like, yeah, it also means you've been in a body quite a few times, so you already know how the body means. Most people either haven't been in a body really long, so like, let's make fun of this body, okay? Let's misuse it as much as possible. Or the people who haven't been in body, who have come into this life just for a second, I don't know, 10, 20 times, they're like, I don't know how to operate it. Can I quit smoking actually? So in your case, I would say, and people who have that's beautiful and just means you're super connected and it's easy for you to decide what's good for you, what's intuitively high vibrational.
And probably, because I'm 64 years old, I've been around the block a time or two.
I don't think that matters actually. Like my mom is 75 and
Mhm.
she is wonderful. She's learned to meditate, she's learned to do breath work, but her emotions are still not fully processed about her childhood. She doesn't want to. Her dad actually left when she was a baby, and she still smokes. And she knows all the, all the effects. She knows what I work with. She knows I help people heal. And yeah, yet she smokes. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's you being an advanced soul.
Oh, I'll take it. Thank you. Jolly, this has been an amazing conversation. How do people get in touch with you if they want to work with you?
So the easiest way is to find me on Instagram. I'm on Instagram under Djali Energy. That's DJALI, like DJ Ali and Energy together. And say hi in a message, say challenge with double L, and I will gift you for connecting with me uh, tools to be able to reprogram your prosperity mindset that I have used on myself, I have used with hundreds of my clients, and that have changed how they can see how much money they can make, how easy their life can be. And it's not just about the money, really, it's about you finding the designing of your life that's easy. So go ahead and go onto Instagram, Djali Energy, DJALI, like DJ Ali Energy, and message me the word challenge. And challenge is double L, just in case you forgot.
And because you're in the Czech Republic.
Yeah, that's
Maybe.
right. Yeah, there are some people who can't spell.
Right. But you work with people everywhere. So,
I work with people mostly from the US, and I have South America. I work in Spanish as well, and I have Australians, South Africans, and I have some Europeans. My Europeans are the smallest percentage.
okay. Thank you so much for joining me. What's the one thing you hope the audience takes away from our conversation today?
I'm so happy we did this. And the one thing the audience should take away is that you can design your energy and your day, your weeks, and your year according to how you dream it up. And your first thing is to allow yourself to dream it up and then go ahead and let the world evolve around your energy rather than you trying to fit in.
I love that. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for the You World Order Showcase podcast. Remember, if you would like to be featured on this podcast as a life, health, or transformational coach, please visit www.jointheyouworldorder.com. We look forward to talking to you next time as we present another life, health, or transformational coach being the change they seek in the